I worked in a charter management organization. So they, I think now have 18 middle schools and high schools in the LA area. And kind of came into that role. It takes some time to get acclimated, to kind of get good at the job. And then I wanted to progress, but there wasn't a senior level role. There weren't very many steps. I knew I had indirect management experience. I knew I wanted direct management experience. I wanted to lead a team, and I wanted to take on big strategic projects. So I just looked around for opportunities in the org and was like, hey, I've kind of been leading. There were 4 or 5 people in my same position. And so I kind of stepped up in that team and led the team, kind of took over a little bit of ownership and guiding us where we were going, and then identified those other areas that I wanted to grow for my personal growth. Honestly, when I looked at job descriptions for other jobs, they were like, looking for people who had managed a team and who had these different experiences. And so I was like, well, I need to get these experiences. And so I created a new role for myself, which was just the senior level of the job that I had. And after doing that for a few years, it was time again where I was like, I need another step up. I need to take on more responsibility. And so each time it's identifying needs in the organization and what are the things that I want to do, and how can I then pitch like, hey, I think we need this and I want to grow in that area. So let's make me a job doing that. And obviously, it's not always that easy, but I was fortunate enough to have support at that organization to do it.
Looking at companies, you want to look at a firm or an organization that has a really wide breadth, because you don't know what you're going to want to do. And if you actually see yourself there long term, if they have a good culture, they have good benefits, they have good leadership, you don't want to feel like you're pigeonholed into doing one task, which can happen if you're at a really specialized niche company. So like at the districts, they encourage you to transfer. They encourage you to go to work in different job functions to make you more well-rounded and have a better understanding of the organization from a high level, especially if you want to move up. So, and that's a different thing too. Sometimes companies, they say, yeah, you can move, but they actually wouldn't want you to move, right? Or you don't have a supervisor that supports you in that and wants to actually help grow you outside of the one role you have within them. But that's why it's important to go to a big place, because I wasn't as happy in my last role. It was fine, but I was definitely not as happy as I am now. But if the company had limited opportunities, then I would have just had to stay there or leave the company, even though they had all these other great things. Whereas in my case, I just waited a couple of years, then I transferred.
I will say there was a period in time when I wasn't sure if I wanted to be an engineer. I wasn't sure if I wanted to do something else. The first 2 years at Viterbi were hard. I was not getting the grades that I was used to getting. And so I had definitely some crisis moments then. But I think I learned then that when I'm starting to feel that discomfort of this isn't feeling right for me, to really kind of explore, what don't you like about it? And is there something else that you would want to do? Because I've used that later to make these changes, to switch careers, to create new roles for myself, I started a summer program for high school girls, like teaching social emotional skills, personal finance, and entrepreneurship, because I wanted to, because it was fun and it was an opportunity. And so now I don't have too many of those crisis moments, because I know if I'm like, I don't like this anymore, I've figured out how to create a situation that I like a lot better.
In life, take risks, take opportunities that are going to accelerate your growth. Be comfortable with getting into positions where you might be uncomfortable. And when I say uncomfortable, not uncomfortable because the job doesn't pay well or something, because they also need to, pay you well, be stable, whatever, but be uncomfortable because you might be, the dumbest person in the room or the style, but it's because you're going to learn from everybody. So you're going to ask a lot of questions, pick all this knowledge, and it's only going to make you the wiser for it.
You have to take nobody else is going to push you and grow your career the way you can, or they'll make you fit into a box that serves their needs. So if you want your needs to be met and you want to grow in the ways that you think are important, sometimes you just kind of make the path for yourself.